A viewer recently asked about one rifle to kind of do it all as a hunting rifle. They were looking for a rifle that they could do whitetail, hogs, maybe some bigger game, mule deer, just general purpose hunting, but they only wanted one. They're only going to have one rifle. And what they were looking at was the intermediate rounds, the 6.8 SPC, 6.5 Grendel, 6mm ARC, that kind of thing. And my suggestion was you really want to bump it up a notch. You want to go to the mid-power cartridges, 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, things in that range. And those are my two top choices because they're the most available. If you're only going to have one that's very standard. Nothing boutique, but nothing rare, nothing hard to get ammo for, or magazines for, or anything like that. I thought I'd dig into this because if you're hunting in North America and you're not a gun enthusiast, so you really only want one rifle, you can do it. It's perfectly viable. Let's dig into that. Welcome back to Bullets and Brass, folks. We are talking about the one rifle to rule them all. And the recent proliferation of a higher velocity, higher energy intermediate rounds, 6.5 Grendel, 6 ARC, all these rounds that you get more power than a 5.56 at longer ranges. They're more suitable for hunting. They're very tempting, right? It lets you build a very compact, lightweight hunting rifle that really can almost do it all. But if you're only going to have one, I'm not going to dismiss that as a concept, but I think you need to be realistic about how much power you're really getting. Is it enough? Is it enough to not be constantly compromising? Because if you're going to have one rifle as your primary hunting rifle, why not make sure that it really is a good choice, not a marginal choice? Is it not practical? Sure, you can hunt most stuff with one of these calibers. You're range limited, shot placement is absolutely critical, and it gets a little questionable on some of the larger stuff, and you're sure as hell not really going elk or moose hunting. Even black bear is questionable. These are rounds that do really well on lighter skinned, slimmer animals because they were designed for light-skinned, slimmer animals that walk on two legs. I mean, let's be real. That's what they were built for. So using them as a hunting cartridge, it works up to a point. Most hunting is very short-ranged. Realistically, shots past 100 yards are extremely rare in most of this country. If you do not live and hunt on a regular basis somewhere where you actually do shoot longer ranges for hunting, you don't need a ton of energy. You don't need a ton of distance, right? So with proper bullet placement, proper bullet choice, yes, you can hunt whitetail, even mule deer, with 6.5 Grendel, 6mm ARC. That is doable. It's less than ideal, but 100% practical, as long as you keep it to the shorter ranges. If you want one to do everything, though, that's not the rifle. The hiccups come when you want to have that to be one rifle rather than a small set. So you need it to be predator rifle, hog rifle, whitetail hunter, axis hunter, mule deer, elk, maybe moose, right? Black bear. All the stuff that gets commonly hunted in North America. If you need one to do all that, and you'd also like to go to the range once in a while and just have fun with it, 308, 6.5 Creedmoor are your choice. You are going to be very range limited on elk and moose. Forget brown bear. Just leave that off the list. If you want to hunt brown bear and probably moose, to be realistic, borrow a rifle. Borrow something bigger. But otherwise, the mid-power rounds give you this capability without costing any more. Let's be real. By the time you're done with your hunting setup and ammo and everything else, the price difference between a 308 or a 6.5 Creedmoor and a 6.5 Grendel or 6mm ARC, minimal. It really is minimal. If you're getting away with just one, I don't see it being a problem. Certainly it is cheaper than having two rifles. Now we could argue that just like you have to be aware of your limitations with the smaller, the intermediate rounds, you still have to be aware of your limitations with the mid-power stuff, but those limitations are less likely to come up. Are you really shooting 400 or 500 yards on an elk? Really? Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but if you are such a non-hardcore hunter that you're trying to limit yourself to one rifle, are you making that shot? Is that an ethical shot? How often does that shot come up for you? Is that a, hey, theoretically once in my lifetime? Or is that a once a year? If it's once a year, maybe invest in a reasonably priced higher power rifle. Buy an old 30-06, buy an old 270, plenty of people are offloading 300 Win mags and a few boxes of ammo. Call it a day, right? You might shoot this rifle twice a year. Sight it in, go hunting. And you may not pull the trigger while you're out hunting. I mean, reality is reality, guys. So that mid-power cartridge in the real world is what you're going to use more. You're going to use it all the time. If you are a hunter, what are you really going after on a routine basis? Now, where I'm located, that's hogs. Hogs, whitetail, axis, day in, day out. Whitetail in season, but axis are always in season. Hogs are always in season. I mean, you're going to use it. Every year, multiple times a year, you're going to go to the range, you're going to have fun with it. Ammo is reasonably affordable. This is a practical rifle to have as the one. So rather than buying two or having a bigger rifle that is overkill for your day-to-day stuff and is uncomfortable, more expensive, not as nice to shoot, buy the rifle for the task you're going to do the most. Is it a little overkill if you're predator hunting? Yes. Is it a little overkill if you're hunting smaller whitetail down south? Yeah, I mean, maybe. Particularly up close at the distances we have around here. But, proper bullet placement, proper bullet choice, this is perfectly reasonable. You have the option. Now, if that hunt of a lifetime comes up, if you just got the call, you got an elk tag, okay, great. You can go to the store, spend $1,000 on a used rifle with a scope and a couple boxes of ammo, and have a perfectly good 300 Win mag, 30-06, whatever your little heart desires. Go do that hunt, sell the rifle, or stick it on the wall and go, that's the one I got my elk with. But for every guy that goes elk hunting on an even remotely regular basis, there are 50 guys who never will. 100 guys. I don't even know. It's a massive number. People who just go, I get a couple whitetail a year, and if they're in an area with a lot of hogs, maybe we go hog hunting once in a blue moon. But they're not hardcore about this. They're not gun people in the sense that they're looking for a collection and they're having fun with the gun. There are people who just want to put some meat in the freezer. That's it. They enjoy getting out in the woods. They get out in the field. They do their thing. And that's it. They're not looking to have a collection. Let's be real. If you are watching my channel, that probably doesn't describe you. You probably have more of an interest in firearms. You want a small collection. However, there are other reasons for having that one do-all rifle to rule them all. Planning for worst-case scenarios. Financial. Environmental. Oh shit moments where you're going, I am grabbing a gun and a backpack full of gear, and I am walking out that door, and I may not be back. Right? Shit has gone very wrong. Even if you're saying, I am throwing some stuff in the car and evacuating, what gun am I taking? Well, the answer might be a handgun and a rifle like this. And you're hoping that when you come back, your house is still standing, right? Say there's a really nasty hurricane coming through, there's a wildfire coming through, and you don't have time. Like, there's not time to do an orderly evacuation and take more of your stuff. Which one do you take? I would argue that that's what this rifle is. It is the rifle that When in doubt, it will get the job done. For 99.9% of the circumstances you're going to run into, it is a viable choice. If you step down to an intermediate rifle, it might be a viable choice. If you step up to a full power, a high power round, it might be excessive. Ammo becomes more expensive. It is less comfortable to shoot if you need a little higher rate of fire. And the rifles are more limited. What are your options if you want 300 Win Mag? In a reasonably priced rifle, you are looking at a basic bolt-action rifle. Maybe that doesn't suit your needs because your one rifle to rule them all may need to double as a home defense rifle, right? So, what are your thoughts? Do you have the ability to go down to one rifle? Could you do it? If you could, what would it be? Do you own that rifle? What caliber would you pick? I mean, I arbitrarily said .308 and 6.5 Creedmoor as the mainstream general purpose options. You can walk in almost any gun store and get ammo, that kind of thing. Is there something else you would pick? That there's factory ammo readily available? Certainly there are other rounds available that fit into this niche. I am not saying that those two rounds are unique. I just think that they're great examples of it. I know the answer is always get both. N+1. Sometimes it's just not practical. So anyway, good hunting. Stay safe, folks. And I'll see you next time.